Hey everyone, it's Rhonda. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me. I am so very glad that you are here. I cannot even believe that this is the end of September. It has been a hot minute since I've done a video and I don't even know where the time has gone. Honestly, it's been flying by. I have been traveling this summer, so I'm going to share a little bit about that with you today. But if you're new here, I'm Rhonda. I do all things scrapbooking, journal related. I love making my own journals, which is what we're going to do today. If this is something that interests you, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. While you're there, if you would give this video a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, feel free to leave me any comments or questions below. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this. So, as I mentioned, I've been traveling this summer, and we just got back last week from a trip to California. We went to Disneyland for a few days and then down to San Diego for a few days. So this trip has been planned for quite a while, and knowing that I was going to go to Disneyland, I was trying to figure out what kind of journal / scrapbook I wanted to make for this trip. Originally, this is what I had made. Let me grab it. I had a little golden book, The Little Man of Disneyland. I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect. I'm going to use this to document our Disneyland trip. Created it out of this little golden book. I've got all my pages in here. So stinking cute. So this was my original idea. Well, while we were at Disneyland, I saw something else that kind of struck me as, I think I want to use this to make a journal. So what I found, and this I could only find it in Disneyland. I couldn't find it in DCA. I found it in Disneyland and only on Main Street. So we walked by a popcorn cart. And this was the popcorn cart that's right in front of Jolly Holiday, if you're familiar with Disneyland. This is the cart right in front of Jolly Holiday, and they sell popcorn there. And I happened to walk by it, and out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a popcorn box. And it is this popcorn box. Now, I love vintage anything, but you give me vintage Disneyland and I am sold. I was obsessed with this popcorn box. So we went over and asked if they had boxes that they could sell me. The popcorn is packaged at a separate place, and then they bring the boxes of the popcorn to the park. So they didn't have any empty boxes, so we just bought a box of popcorn. I am not a popcorn fan. I just don't love popcorn. So we threw that out and I kept the box. So this box came home with me, and I thought this would make the perfect journal. Isn't that cute? This is the top, the bottom folds in. I just thought it was adorable. So immediately when I saw it, I thought, okay, I'm going to cut this down and I'm going to make this a journal. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and dive on in. I've got some ideas and I've got some plans for this. So what I need to do first is cut off this top fold because I don't need that. So I'm just going to grab my scissors. I think we're going to try it that way first. And I'm just going to cut off the top of this. And it's perforated, so that's making it very easy to cut. Okay. And then we need to do the same thing with the bottom. So I'm going to fold this out. And it doesn't matter if I tear this apart because this whole bottom is coming off. So we're just going to cut this off. And I'm loving this because I don't have to do anything with the front cover. It's already done for me. It says, I think the only thing I might do is add some stickers on here, maybe that say 2024. I kind of like that idea. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with the other end piece that I'm going to cut off because I really love it. This has Adventureland, Fantasyland, and then this has Tomorrow and Frontier. So I kind of want to keep that and use that, but I'm not quite sure how. Okay. There's that piece. One more flap. All right. So now you can see we've got our empty popcorn box. A couple little kernels left in there. Oh, and some salt. Okay. So now I need to cut off this piece right here. So we're going to do that. And this is the piece I want to keep and figure out how to use because I love it. I'm sure the lady at the popcorn stand thought we were crazy. wanting to buy empty boxes. But my husband's always good about explaining, well, my wife is a scrapbooker, and there you go. Okay, so that's cut off. And now we've got our cover. Look how easy that was. Ta-da! There we go. Okay, so this is very, very flimsy cardboard. So what I want to do now is go ahead and just reinforce this. So there's a lot of salt in there. Get that cleaned off. Okay. Popcorn kernels all over my desk. Okay, so now what I want to do is bulk this up a little bit. So I've got a couple pieces of chipboard here, and this is real thin chipboard. This I save these. They come with my scrapbook.com orders. Anytime I buy paper, they put this in with it just to kind of stabilize it so it doesn't bend. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and use for this. So what I need to do is cut it down to size, and I'm going to do 3 pieces. I want a piece for the front cover, a piece for the spine, and then a piece for the back cover. I still want it to be able to fold, so I'm not going to go all the way across. I'm going to do it in 3 separate pieces. So let me grab my pencil here and figure out where we want this to go. Okay, so this one's going to go like right there. All right, let me trim that down. Okay, so that should fit right there perfectly, and it does. Actually, I think I may trim a tiny bit off because I still want it to be able to fold really easily. So I'm going to trim a little bit more off. Okay. So yeah, that's actually perfect. Perfect. Okay, then I want to cut this part down to size. We're going to cut that right there. And then we're going to do the same thing with both of the other pieces. All right, let's make sure that that works perfect. It's a little bit long. Okay. Trim that off just a touch. Okay. Yeah, I am very happy with that. So I've got a little bit of a gap here and on this side. And actually, I think I may trim that one down just a little bit more. I decided what I want to do. So obviously I'm going to have to cover this because I don't want just plain chipboard showing there. So I pulled out some pieces of paper that I'm going to use to cover this. So I have to account for that little bit of paper. And so I'm going to trim that off just a tiny bit more. And I'll show you guys what I mean. Okay. So there we go. That's perfect. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing for this piece, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the paper. So all 3 of my pieces are cut, and those look good. It's not going to matter that they're 2 different colors of chipboard because, again, this is all going to get covered. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, let's start on this side. So what I've done is I pulled out some paper, and I really wanted matching paper, but I didn't have 2 sheets of paper that would work for that. So what I pulled out is this piece. These are all from, say, Cheese Stories at the Park. This one I'm obsessed with. I just love it. It's got a very small world vibe to it. And to me, that just screams Disneyland. And I think it's because Small World is such a big part of Disneyland, much more so than it is at Disney World. So I just saw this and immediately thought of Disneyland. This one is also more the Disneyland castle to me. That's more of Sleeping Beauty's castle rather than Cinderella's. So I wanted to use that. And I also love this little starburst paper. This one is called... What is this one called? Elements 2. Oh, because it's got the cut apart cards on the back. I wasn't really going to use any of those, so I do want to use it on this. This one has just like this pink starburst pattern on the back, and then this one has this green stripe. So they're super cute. I love that everything coordinates. All the colors go together. So these are the 3 papers I'm going to use, and I'll show you how we're going to do this. All right. So I think I'm going to use this Disneyland paper first. And what I want to do is wrap this cardboard, this chipboard piece, in this paper so that it gives me a nice finished edge. I could just sandwich all 3, you know, the front cover, the chipboard, and the paper. But I'd rather have a much more finished edge on the edges so that it looks just a little bit neater. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull this over here. And I've got, let me find it here. I've got it somewhere. I've got some tape that I'm going to use. You could also use glue, but this is very, very sticky tape, and I love using this stuff when I'm making journals. Very similar to red line tape if you're familiar with that. Okay, so what I want to do is just go ahead and put some tape along the edge of my chipboard here. Okay, and I just tear it. Put another one here. And this is really going to secure all my covers together, all my pieces of my cover together. Okay. Let's do that. And then, since the bulk of this tape is going to secure my paper to this, I am okay using just my regular ATG on here in the middle. So this stuff is super strong as well, so I'm not worried about anything not sticking to this cover. Okay. Peel this off. Oh, sticky. All right, and then I'm just gonna lay my paper down on here, and I'm gonna give myself an edge. So probably, I'm gonna turn this over. And so probably, you know, maybe 1/2 inch or so all the way around the sides so that I can wrap this paper around and have it look super neat and tidy. Okay. Pull this back over. And these measurements don't have to be exact. You know, you can just eyeball it. Just making sure that you've got enough to wrap around here. Okay, that'll work. And then before you wrap it, you want to just go ahead and miter your corners. So you're just going to cut straight across here. Give yourself a little bit of a lip there. Okay. And then I'm going to use my tape again, and I'm going to run this along the edges just like I did last time. So now you can see how nice and neat that's going to look when I put it in, when I attach it to the cover. It's going to look super nice, finished. Yeah, much better than if I were just to leave those edges raw. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing with my back cover. And we'll go ahead and do that, I think, with, do I want it with that one? Or do I want it with that one? do it with this one. Okay, so I'm just going to do the exact same thing. Wrap this piece of cardboard with this paper, and then we'll talk about the spine. Okay, so both my front and my back covers are done and wrapped. So the only thing I need to do now is do my spine. Now, I'm not going to wrap my spine because this isn't going to matter. You're not going to see the spine. And I wanted to do something a little bit different with the spine anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and add these to, use tape and add these to my cover. But I think that I want to do something else before I do that. So I had an idea. I kind of wanted to dress up the cover a little bit. What I was thinking, let me put these to the side. I've got this ribbon, and it's very vintage looking ribbon. I love it because it's cream color and not white, and it goes really well with the cream on the cover. What I was thinking of doing is adding some ribbon and then some pom-pom trim. So I've got this orange pom-pom trim, and it's a little bit more bright orange than this vintagey orange, but I think it's going to work because I want to tie in the fact that we were there at Disneyland for Halloween. So we went to Oogie Boogie Bash. Obviously the park is decorated for Halloween. So I wanted to do this one on the front cover and then do the same thing on the back, but with black pom-pom trim. And I think that'll look cute. That's kind of my thought for this, but I'm going to go ahead and put it on here now before I put my cover on so that it's just kind of sandwiched in between there and I don't have to worry about it coming off. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to grab some glue. Let me do that. Okay, so I actually grabbed my my glue gun because I don't want to wait for this stuff to dry. I just want to get this done and get it all put together. So I'm going to use my glue gun. I'm just going to put some here. Stick this down. There we go. Okay. All right, we've got that little bit down. And we're going to keep going. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. And then we're going to do the same thing with the lace. I just need to figure out how much of it I want showing. And I just want just a little. I don't want a whole lot of lace, but I think that, it's kind of hard to tell, but I think that might be good. Okay, so let's do that. I'm just going to put some more hot glue up here. Very hard to tell, but I just wanted just a little bit of lace peeking out underneath that. All right, so let me get these edges trimmed up, and then we're going to do the same thing with the back cover, but with the black and the lace. So I'll trim this lace off here. Okay, cute. All right, do the same thing over here. Make sure, yep. So there is the edge of my cover. I've got the black and the orange on there. I think that turned out super cute. Okay, so now what we need to do is just go ahead and attach the paper wrapped covers that we've got. Clean up some of my mess here. So we're going to start with this one. And we're just going to go ahead and add that in there. Make sure we've got a little bit of room so you can see that's going to look very nice in there. All right, and you know what? Since I've got my hot glue here, I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue it down rather than pulling out the rest of the tape. So I'm just going to add my hot glue here. Make sure my edges are good. All right, and we'll go ahead and plaster this down. Okay, that is good and secure. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with my back cover. Let's put a little bit of glue there just to put that down. All right, there's my front and my back cover done. So cute. All right, so the spine I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm not going to wrap that. I think I mentioned that before. I'm just going to pop this in here, and then I'm going to use this paper to cover this, and I'll show you how we're going to do that in just a second. I need to grab another hot glue stick, though. All right, pop this in here. Okay, glue everywhere. All right, so now what I'm going to do is cut a piece of this to fit enough to cover the spine, but I also want the paper to come down on this paper a little bit. So I am going to, I lost my pencil here somewhere. I'll just use a pen. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. So I think I'm going to let's see, make that there, and then we're going to make this here. Okay, cut that. Okay, so that's going to cover that, but I want to make this a little bit more decorative. So I think what I'm going to do is fold this paper. Let's do, just want to go from the corner and just create an angle here. Let's see if this works. Okay, and then I want to do the same thing here. And just make an angle from this corner. Let's make sure that that is good. Okay, and what that's going to do is create like this V shape here. And I think I want that to go that way. But that looks pretty cute. And I could actually even trim that down. This angle's a little bit off. See if I can bend that just a little bit more. Okay, that's cute. I think I'm going to trim off the excess here because I don't need all that bulk. So let's just trim this down. Okay. So then I think what I want to do is ink the edges of this a little bit. So I'm going to grab my black. Oops, my black Distress ink. And I'm going to ink the edges of that, and I think I also want to ink the edges of this. I should have done that before I put them down. I thought about it and then didn't do it, but we're going to ink these. Okay. I've got, knock my glue gun over. Okay. So we're going to put that down there, and I love that. I'm going to run my bone folder on this just to make sure that it creases, but I love that. Let's go ahead and, again, just hot glue because it's sitting right here. Okay. Make sure that we're centered here a little. Okay. That is really, really cute. All right, so let me grab my bone folder. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and crease in here where this folds. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing on this side, right there. Okay. Ta-da! Our cover is done. That turned out so cute. I love it. I love it. Okay, so now we need to figure out, let me unplug my glue gun since I'm not going to need that again. It would be very like me to just burn myself. Okay, so the next question I had to tackle was, how do I want to put the pages in this? And I could take papers and put them in signatures and attach them, you know, just sew them through there. But as I mentioned before, this was a very Halloween trip, and we did Oogie Boogie Bash, and you know, the park is decorated for Halloween, so I have lots of Halloween photos, and I wanted to be able to control when and where my papers were. So I've got some very, very cute Disney Halloween papers, so I wanted to make sure that I use those for the Oogie Boogie portion, and you know, and to document how the park is decorated. So I think what I want to do is just be able to add my pages and not worry about sewing in a signature and, you know, running the risk of, you know, what if I have paper that doesn't work with what I want to tell. So I just wanted to be able to control where the papers were in this journal. So originally I had thought maybe I would use these. Let me show you real quick. So these are like ringed binders, and these are from 49 and Market, and this goes with their Create an Album line. So this is a Create an Album journal, and this is from 49 and Market. Very, very similar to what I have, you know, just the same book style journal. And then you would attach these rings in the center, and then you can punch your holes in your paper and you can attach it that way. The only problem is these rings are pretty small, and I don't think that I would have enough room on there to document all of my Disney photos. We were only there for 3 days. I don't have a ton of photos, but I do have a lot of them. So I didn't think that that was going to work for me. So what I decided to do is add rings to this, and I'm hoping this works, because if not, this is all going to be for naught here. Let me find it. Okay. So I've got 2 of these large book rings, and I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I kind of want one here and one like roughly here. So what I'm going to do is just attach put in a couple holes here. So I want them to be, you know, the same distance apart, but I'm just going to go ahead and add these rings through the spine. What did I say? You know what? I'm going to measure this real quick. And if you guys have watched my videos before, you know I don't measure anything. So this is a pretty big deal. All right, so we are at, let me see what this one is. So if I go 2 inches, that puts me here, and 2 inches puts me there. Okay, so if I put holes on both of those lines. Let's see. And it's not going to make a huge difference if they're not perfect, because the rings are going to have a little bit of give to them. But let me erase these two because it's just going to mess me up. All right, and if I put a couple holes, like one there and one there, they're pretty close to being lined up. Okay, so I'm going to grab my crocodile because this is going to have to punch through a couple of thicker layers. So I'm going to use my crocodile to punch my holes here. There's my hole right there. Almost punched it in the wrong spot. Okay, so we're going to go there. And we're going to go right there. Okay, so those, my two holes are punched there. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. And we're going to go there and there. Okay. So my holes are punched. Can you see those? Okay. So now what I need to do is work these rings through these holes. So this takes a little bit of finagling here. Finagling, I should say. We're going to get one in here and then the other. Okay. I can't even get one in here. Let me open these up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so that's there, and then we can bend this down a little bit to get the other one in. Oh, shoot. Oh, and I punched a hole through that. Let me get this in here. There we go. And then we can... Okay, there we go. So it takes a little bit of finagling to get these rings to where you want them. But the trick is to open and close them and kind of move them around a little bit to get them in there. So now I've got one in there, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the other. Much easier than the first one. Okay. And I want this part of the rings on the outside of my book. So sometimes you have to wiggle it to get it to go there. It may change the shape of your hole a little bit, but that's okay. So I've got this. Let me work these through here. Okay. There we go. So my two rings are in here. Now what this allows me to do is use any kind of paper that I want. And then all I need to do is punch holes in my paper and attach them to the rings. Okay, so there we go. This is done. This is complete, and this is ready to go. I am ready to start telling my stories in here. So took a vintage Disneyland popcorn box and turned it into a journal where I'll be able to tell all of the stories of my fall Disneyland trip. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to my channel for all things scrapbooking, journaling related. Again, leave me questions, comments below, and otherwise I will see you guys next time for another video. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.